All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we're back out on the land here today. You know, it's Friday afternoon. It's the 31st of May. We were out doing stuff yesterday, planting the farm plots. I finished one of them up here this morning. Couldn't get to it quite in time before it got dark on me, but we're over here at another parcel, and this parcel in particular is 34 acres. So it's realistic for a lot of you guys. You know, like, I don't have big acreage farms. I don't have disposable acreage where I can do whatever. I can go hunt and not be smart with it, you know? So I have to be careful about what I do and the approaches that I take to actually have success when it comes to hunting in the fall season. So what I'm doing here today is basically, I'm gonna test a little theory here that I have. So on the home farm, on those plots, I ran the cultipacker over top of the plots that I broadcasted into this standing rye. So I ran the cultipacker over in theory to pound those seeds down a little bit deeper, get good seed to soil contact. What I'm going to do over here and test a different theory is I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm crimping this over right away. I'm not gonna cultipack this. I'm just gonna be a one and done. I'm gonna broadcast and crimp and see what kind of germination rates, what kind of growth I can get from that method as well. So like I said, I'm kind of trying to pick the best possible system that I can use year after year, and also at the same time be relatable to you guys so you can mimic this method and we can get the best possible food plots, the most high quality, high palatable, and nutritious food plots that we possibly can for the cheapest price. So in this blend, it's the same thing I'm planting at the farm. I've got cereal rye, I've got tillage radish, I've got crimson clover, and I've got forage peas. So that was broadcasted into here. I don't think I'm gonna have enough seed to plant all of these in the same blend. So I might make a different video on a different blend and see how they kind of compare. This is the ideal blend that I would like to plant. I think I'll have enough clover, but I think I might run low on potentially some peas. So we'll see what happens. I've got a little bit of buckwheat left from years prior, so I might throw that in with some of the other plots and see how that does versus no buckwheat. So basically what I'm doing, I'm coming through here, broadcasting the seed right into the standing rye, and I'm crimping over the top of it. And I'll show you guys after this, but it's a beautiful mat that we're getting. We're getting a beautiful mat laid over top of all these new seeds, and that's gonna speed up our germination process because as you can see here, this rye has a ton of moisture in it. This soil is all clumpy because it's got that root system, but as I come over and I crimp this rye over, it's killing this plant. So this root system is just gonna start to deteriorate and fall apart, and that's gonna create loose soil for those new seeds to germinate and move around, water channels for nutrients and water to flow to those new plants. And I'm eliminating my lag time. I'm not terminating this crop, waiting for it to rot away and then seeding or then drilling, whatever that may be. I'm seeding right into this so I don't have any lag time. I don't allow those weeds to potentially take over this plot and eliminate my no-till practice that I'm trying to achieve here. What I'm doing is I'm just going ahead and I'm broadcasting right into this, crimping over the top, so I have a shaded mat to suppress those weeds, and as those young seeds are starting to germinate, once they start to get established, by that time this rye should be breaking down pretty decently, and it'll allow space for those new seeds that I want to grow to pop up through and then overtake this field so I don't have that weed competition. And if I do end up having some weed competition, like I said, all of my plots, every single plot that I had last year had pigweed. I don't see any pigweed in here. This rye has done a number on that pigweed population. So I'm just gonna be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna be looking at all these plots, making sure that if I do have some pigweed issues, I'm coming in here early, I'm raising that mower deck way up high, and I'm clipping the tops of those pigweeds. So over time, if I have to clip them 2 or 3 times, eventually that pigweed is gonna run out of energy and nutrients to repair and continue to grow, that my good stuff, my summer blend, is gonna overtake that anyway. So not too concerned about that, but if I do, that's how I'm gonna handle it. So, but basically this is the exact formula that I'm looking to replicate year after year. I'm trying to get away from the chemicals because they're harmful to the soil, harmful to us, and I'm not trying to sound fruity when I say that, but it's just the facts, guys, right? There's stuff in those chemicals that is just not good for consumers to be using. Yes, they use it on the ag fields, Is it the right practice? I don't know. I don't think so. So I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to avoid the destructive tilling that loses all our topsoil. That's why valley farming is so good, because all the ridgetop farming, all that topsoil, when you get heavy rains, is running down into those valleys, making them that much better, but at the same time destroying those ridge tops because we're losing all of our topsoil. We're turning ground. We're not using cover crops. There's not living plants on the soil at all times. That's what is supposed to happen. If you walk through the woods during the summer, there's always something growing on the ground because that's how it's supposed to be. That's how nature intended it. So that's what we're trying to mimic here, a natural process, because at the end of the day, as we're adding all of these different crops, we're adding nutrients back into the soil. We're not spraying, destroying everything that's living here, and then waiting 2 months, tilling, and then hoping something grows. We're pouring a bunch of synthetic fertilizer to it that's super high in salt content, very acidic. It's drying out your soil, and basically you're creating a false plant. It doesn't have a lot of nutrients. It's not nutrient dense. What we're trying to achieve here is building this topsoil, having a lot of microorganisms in this soil, a lot of bacteria and a lot of nutrients in here, so that I can avoid using fertilizer. I don't even need fertilizer because there's so much nutrients that I've been consistently putting in here, planting with the cover crops, adding specific different things, nitrogen fixing, calcium, phosphorus, all of this stuff we're adding with our cover crops. We're specifically taking soil samples, we're adding that type of blend into that specific plot to get a specific result. When we go ahead and terminate that crop and it slowly rots away, it makes all of those nutrients available for the next crop to follow. And that next crop is gonna be our fall blend right here in this beautiful plot that I've got here. It's about 1/4 of an acre, pretty relatable to you guys. I don't have any really big plots. I've got about 1.5 acres total spread out between 9 or 10 plots. So a lot of small kill plots, you could call them, but food is what I need. I want attraction with my food plots, something to stop these deer, can create a consistent movement. That's what I'm after here today. So I'm gonna show you guys how I kind of go ahead and do this. You saw the first method with the cultipacking, and then later I'm gonna be crimping that. I'm just gonna go ahead, broadcast this, and crimp over the top. So let's see what happens.